Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Connor.
This is Rangru, low.
And folks, we're back as a Buchton today, seeing an old friend from a couple of weeks ago and a new one once more. Rang, who do we have and what are they bringing?
On the left hand side in the blue, we have AS playing as the Romanian Cavalry Motorized Division with a Maverick income. Right hand side in the red, we have Gonzo playing Group Bagtina with a balanced income.
So the inner Star Wars nerd in me saying, Gonzo's be very healthy having all that back team. But that's back to us, so my joke falls completely flat. In the meantime, I do love seeing this like rinky-dink biplane with the 50 kg bombs. If for no other reason than just I love having the idea of having this guy just like chucking explosives at the side of a biplane. And the recon's wonderful too.
Yeah, this is actually a really weird opener for my ass. Open up with the recon plane and a BF-109 to keep it covered. A pretty heavy investment here, and Gonzo's going to counter with his own recon plane, a bit more well-armed this time. And I think the BF will get him.
Maybe.
Oh, it's a second
fight. Oh, a second one. Oh, this is not a fair fight now.
Oh, this is such a fair ball, and we're not even 2 minutes into the match.
Of course, it's a fur ball, but one of those cats wants nothing to do with it.
But looking at the ground deployment, I mean, down south we're seeing a bit of an armoured car push here from AS, but gonna run into some anti-tank rifles, which Gonzo rightfully brought up. The town is pretty much 50-50 split, and up north we are seeing AS push pretty hard here with a rather scary Romanian double flamethrower teams.
I was laughing more about the fact that there's a sniper teams just engaging back and forth. Literally, it's just a sniper fight down to the south.
Oh yeah. And the Romanian sniper definitely gonna be taking a victory out of a much larger squads.
Well, and the biplane's coming in to drop some bombs. Boom. Alright, yep. And the Tourney Pistolati over here getting forced back, as you might suspect, very, very quickly.
Yeah. God, so much bloody air power. The 109 shoots down a lag, but the MiG shoots down the 109. Circle of life.
Yep, and it screws us all.
Yeah.
In the meantime, a couple of Maxims are going to be trying to hold up to their tenants, let's say, as another 8 armored car moves on through. But the armored car is going to run afoul of that ZIS-2 pretty quickly. So I don't want to be that guy too swiftly here.
Yeah, with the recon optics, he's going to be able to spot the Maxim and shoot him from a safe location for the time being until the ZIS-2. Oh, it sees the other armored car, but really aggressive play here right now from AS. I mean, he's going to have to. This is your classic Maverick first balanced income dilemma. He's going to have to win in 20 minutes, or he's going to lose.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But of course, we've said that before. We've definitely seen late game kind of Mavericks pull it out. Staying true to the name as it is. In the center, though, that town is looking very, very red. And one thing we talked about over here on Tuesday is that he who controls the crossroads controls, well, the spice. Unfortunately, I think that's how it goes, isn't it? Something like that.
I'm fairly certain I've read it out in a dev blog somewhere.
Yeah, it sounds about right. But looking over here, it doesn't seem like, the 5th Romanians really making a huge deal about it. So, well, what might be the play here instead?
I think he's just trying to play heavy on the flanks, especially up north here, just to try and grab those flags. It's a little bit more easier, it's more open ground, you can make more offensive maneuvers compared to having to grind it out in the town. Especially against Bagtina, because they can give 5th Cav a run for their money with their rather nice infantry too. Actually, both divisions are pretty, similar. Lots of infantry, decent amount of anti-tank weaponry support, lots of airplanes, but not a whole lot of armoured assets.
No, not a whole lot of armor assets, but surprisingly enough, a whole lot of anti-air assets, which is both sides are desperately going to need if you look at their decks.
Yeah, loads of airplanes all bloody over. But I do like how AS, like in the southern side, is essentially holding this with his rifle sniper teams until they get blown up by IL-2s. You can't really snipe a bomb out of the sky.
And I've never seen the camera actually happen as the plane gets shot down coming towards me. Kind of terrifying for a second.
It'll bust through the screen and blow you up too.
the entire cast just cuts over to that emergency thing you see in like every single Fallout game.
Technical difficulties.
Exactly. IAR ADM coming to the north. He's going to go to Pound Town on those anti-tank troops. No, just hammers that sniper team.
Yeah, a little bit of an anticlimactic strike here. With those rather big rockets. But AS is getting that nice +1 point advantage at least. Really gonna need a +2 if he wants to get the victory here. But that's gonna be... I don't think down south is really his best bet. It's a pretty flag-rich zone. There's definitely 2 more flags he could potentially push if he does actually push.
Yeah, and honestly, the Picotas, if they hold because of their numbers. They don't hold because of their weaponry.
Yeah, those pioneer so it's gonna be pretty nasty at CQC here. I mean, that's gonna be 4 flamethrowers.
Yep, and the SMGs, which are not to be sneezed at.
Oh. And baby Ben.
That was absurd. Truly absurd. And you have the anti-infantry from the armored car and support. Yeah, that's absurd. I'd be running for the hills too.
100%
Yikes.
understandable.
I think that's why. Yep, that's why it's another IL-2 coming in. Yep, I'm not surprised by that. I completely understand it. The lag's been kept in support just in case there's another anti-bombing run being thrown on through. A lot of anti-ing going on here.
Yeah, everyone's just trying to counter everybody.
And they dropped long.
Oh, lucky. There were 1 pioneer, so may get surrendered here. The second one is gonna have to pull his raid.
Oh, don't you worry, he's going to.
Maybe not. It's a lot of Soviet firepower.
That's true, but Picotas can't stand up the firepower of that. Oh, no!
Oh, clutch. Real clutch here from Gonzo. Gonna be capping that 7th flag. Back under his control here. Got the VMF trying to snipe out the Hotchkiss.
And the Hotchkiss is just got smooching right on back there as well, though.
Hmm.
And yeah, the VMS says, you know what, guys, maybe discretion's the better part of valor there, and backing away. Looking to the north, Rosiori trying to go and maybe pick up a couple of these guys behind the front lines. A 45mm being brought on in instead. Not for nothing, but I feel like it's a surprisingly meager shove over here from the Romanians.
Yeah, it really has been. Like, I mean, he was losing to Gonzo there for a second, but he hasn't managed to make any major breakthroughs. It's just been, you know, a little bit down south and a little bit up north. And down south just hasn't been going that well for him. Same with the air power fights now. That lag coming in pretty clutch, same with the MiG.
Hey man, lag kills.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely does. In the meantime, though, the Bofors, those guys, pretty beastly as well. That's basically 37mm with just a couple more millimeters. And despite... Actually, you know what? I've made that joke before. Let's leave size out of it. Let's suffice it to say, the bigger hole is the bigger goal.
Yes.
Anyway, looking otherwise, trying to reinforce this northern position here, I think that Gonzo has the potential to kind of pick off maybe a couple of infantry squads here and there. But you gotta watch out as more and more troops can get thrown on in. And while we're seeing P2 Luxes being thrown into the south, even throwing 1 or 2 of them in the northern sector, I think it'd be more than enough to really, really get the momentum back in play here for the Romanians.
Yeah, the real problem with AS's pushes is that his infantry have been pretty spread out and in small forces, right? Even though Gonzo's infantry are not as scary per se in the CQC because there's so many of them clumped up in pretty much like a platoon, it makes them much more effective in actually holding out. And we have like down south that good battle group of like the leader and 2 churners, pretty nice, and just having the leader support makes a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Infantry fights, just not, you know, surrendering is a pretty good way to keep the infantry in the fight.
Well, that's usually how it runs, I would think, but that's absolutely true. But the Grenadieri, in the meantime, I love the weapon loadout from this because it finally gives you that long-range hitting power without sacrificing long-range accurate hitting power as well. As opposed to that kind of unaimed suppression that you just see from so many rifle squads overall.
Yeah, it's essentially a 25-point, like, a 10-man sniper squad. Everyone else is just extra. Who cares what they have? it's really coming down to the run MVP of the scoped rifle.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. And also
Looking
just
else-
compared to like two-man sniper teams, it's much more survivable. You get bombed, you have a good chance of surviving. As long as that dude with the sniper rifle's alive, it's all that matters.
If the one with the sniper rifle gets killed, the next man in the squad, yeah.
They always keep passing the sniper rifle around, like, oh god damn it, he's dead now.
Well,
I'll take it.
It's like, oh, you rated marksman? Yeah, I passed my specialization. I don't have my ribbon, though. Okay, fine. You're the last guy to pick up the rifle if we get shot. Yikes, though. Oh my gosh. So, the Maxims in the back, plus the mid coming on in. I always forget, those are quad Maxims? No, just the one Maxim. I always feel like it should be a quad Maxim there. I don't know why. IL-2s, though, these guys will be the bane of the entire match. And they have to be taken out. Like, this is a non-negotiable, I think, for AS to be successful. The IL-2s cannot survive.
Yeah, especially against such an infantry-focused divisions, such as Romanian Cav. I mean, as we're seeing, they're doing a great job with the IL-2s, that is, forcing back any pushes here.
Exactly. But up to the north, we are going to see the Chernies over here are going to push back. The Cherny Bushlati, again, really SS trooping by another name, albeit with a far.
Pretty good.
I was modifying, albeit with a far more impressive loadout.
I think it is. I think a better way to describe them to be like slightly upgraded strokies.
Okay.
It's just like a minor upgrade, like one up on the tech tree. You know, 10% extra damage type stuff.
You know, I could feel you cringe by me saying that, and I mean that's impressive. 2,000 miles apart, I still know what's going on in your mind.
It's too long.
Now, down to the south, there's a bit of a bulge happening over here in the town. Either that, or the Germans are just happy to see, or the Romanians are just happy to see all the Pakotas in front of them. And judging by the assaults moving on in as well, I don't know. There's definitely some love in the air. There's certainly some fire going on there.
Yeah, but once again, his assault he needs more infantry. There's these small infantry forces with pretty nasty weapon loadouts, but I mean, especially in the town, Gonzo has some pretty nasty units as well. I mean, Morskaya Avtos with the 12 Chicago typewriters per squad. It's not something you want to get very close to.
That's true. I think there's banking on the fact that the typewriters, as you call them, are just going to jam because the feed systems on those things are just dog shit. But this isn't exactly the same Valentine's Day massacre. Either way, it is 14-10, and we are in the heat of where AS needs to be winning.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's not doing too terrible, but he could be doing much better. He needs one more flag. He really needs to start getting a +2 advantage if he wants a good shot in this match. And he could potentially get that flag down south.
Well, quick question. Is this Zabuchin or is that Bastogne I see in the middle of this map?
Yeah.
Two squads of Pioneeri over here just kind of chill and just like, okay guys, let's go and let's pretend we're doing things. Now, is that really going to be great in the long term? Maybe not. But I think as you see now, there's going to be cluster rounds coming in as well as that's the off-map one too.
Yeah.
With Romania is so much fun. They don't have great equipment all the time, but they're so dynamic.
They have really like quite solid infantry. Just they don't look great on paper. There's not like a whole heap of Sturmgewehrs like the Germans, but you know, just 2 flamethrowers and a 10-man squad is not bad. Even the MG26s slap quite a bit because they can shoot CQC.
What is pretty bad is when you let your troops go in there and then you just like, oh yes, my biplane can't be targeted. Oh wait, it can.
Yeah.
At least it gets one artillery strike out of it.
Yeah, you definitely should have been a little bit more reserved. I'm gonna guess it was a misclick with flying directly over enemy lines. But yeah, once again, it's just his pushes have just not been very well supported. I mean, down south here, I mean, Gonzo's managed to counterattack. He's got those T-34s on standby, and there's a whole heap of snipers of his own to counter the Romanian snipers. This is just a goddamn sniper duel, really.
Well, when people start 360ing with no scopes, I think at that point I'll be impressed.
Yup, and playing Call of Duty montages.
Exactly. So the Granatieri over here, bunny hopping across the map. Now the Schwarze loads over here. Again, this is something I'm sure I could probably correct it on pretty easily, but the Schwarze loads always feels to me like it should be basically a Maxim without the gun shield.
Yeah, I think it's literally just a Maxim. I mean, that machine gun platform just got around all over the place.
Wait, are you saying it has loose morals?
Maybe.
No, interesting.
It's a machine gun to the max.
It was machine gun to the Maxim? Oh.
Yes. No, it is really impressive though how that was designed around like 1880 and it was being already used up until 50s, 60s at the latest. That's
I mean,
pretty impressive.
It was the town bicycle of machine guns. I mean, everyone just took the size of that, look at that barrel, and like, yo, I gotta get a piece of that. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Not very mobile, but in a static emplacement and some water laying about, you can just keep on bloody firing.
True. And didn't have to be clean water either, which is the crazy part.
Yeah, you can just piss in it.
IL-2 in the meantime, weapons jammed, the IAR in a spot of bother. Oh wait, no, I forgot. When a weapon's jammed, everything is jammed. The turret's not even able to work.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh geez, he's smoking. Everything is smoking. If that lag gets the turn, I think the lag might be able to save the day on this one. And if it doesn't, there's also the 37 mil. Yep. That was really quite close though.
Yeah, great intercept, yeah, with the lag free. Done a very good job of shutting down AS's airplay, all things considering. And AS, I mean, he's still getting that +1, but he needs a +2, like I keep saying. He only has 3 minutes of B phase left, and then things really turn for the worse here.
And yeah, I mean, if you're looking at C, when C comes around, at that point I feel like they're going to be swamped and just strokey squads.
Yeah.
He's got 2 cards. Literally half of his infantry comes in the next 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, he's not going to be running out while AS is definitely built very heavy for that B phase. He really has no C phase cards, so he's going to have a pretty hard time in that availability sphere.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. We're seeing a whole heap of Stugs being brought in to try to give him some long-range fire support, but...
Stovepipes.
Yeah.
The 2 stovepipes to the south, that's about bloody time.
Oh nice, so the 60mm run shows will probably be pretty damn good. Great at knocking out infantry emplacements just due to how fast they fire.
We are seeing a fair number of anti-tank emplacements over here from the Romanians. One thing we actually haven't seen is we haven't seen the commandant over here, the SVW. Not saying that we're going to, but it would be a nice little flavor thing to see on the field. We just never seem to see him.
We command on foot when you command on a half-track, It's a bit safer.
Exactly. You know what? I think the 20th Panzer should actually just get a Mammoth commander.
Like the elephant thing from Tiberian Sun. The elephant
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. That's definitely an opportunity, too.
Massive railguns, blow everything up. One of the coolest units in an RTS game.
Really, I was at the Chrono Commando. I thought that was such a cool idea. He just basically
cool
tenants people into oblivion.
That's also pretty cool. And all the Murad's tank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really anything in a military run by Tim Curry. Now, there is going to be some turnabout being fair play as its 132s are going to start to impact the northern side. Unfortunately, Gonzo has not been able to realize that there's not the whole lot there. That being said, the 132s are going to cause a little bit of Sturm and Drang. So we'll just watch that over here in just a moment.
Maybe kill the anti-tank gun at least.
Yeah. Well, and the Recita, this is worthwhile. This is worth the effort to kill.
Yeah, it's a really, bloody good anti-tank gun.
It's smoke,
deadly.
it's fire, it's AP, it's everything.
Yeah, it really is. It's a jack of all trades.
And definitely the master of some, for that matter, too.
I do like how soft map artillery makes a perfect circle.
You know what? You find me an off-map artillery that gives me a smiley face, I'll be happy, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
Or rude, or like signs and images.
Actually, that would be a mod I would love to see. Like,
yeah.
Artillery mod that forces your artillery strike into a middle finger. That would be perfect.
It doesn't seem like a very effective barrage, yes, but it's about the message.
Exactly. Exactly. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose in style, boys. Now, in the meantime, true snipers in the meantime down the south taking out of the Zis 2. And down in the center, I'm not saying that Gonzo is missing out on infantry, because surely not. But he's been taking some losses. And the town has slowly been whittled away until there's not a whole lot left standing for defense.
Yeah, it's really just the snipers and support weaponry from AS doing a decent amount of damage here, but I mean, Gonzo can just pretty easily bring in another wave of infantry to secure that town. I mean, with the income advantage he has now, it's not going to be much of an issue.
You know, but it isn't be so much of an issue. Looking to the south, check out all of the infantry being brought on in. He's setting up for a punch.
Oh, yeah, he is. I mean, he's going to need to. I mean, you still have a little bit of momentum early C phase, but you know, give it another 5 minutes or so, that income really starts to screw you over. So hopefully here for AS, there's 1, 2, 3 flags he can potentially take. This 2 is going to be the main thing which will stop him, but if he uses his mortars correctly, you can deal with that Zis 2.
Well, the Zis 2 is placed very defensively. I'm not saying that I want to put it up on the front lines, but even putting it on the southern side to hug that map edge is not a bad idea. T-3476, okay, that's a decent idea too. But I stand by the fact that the Zis 2, if you place it to the southern approaches, you have infantry to the north to watch against foot traffic. You have that to really take out anything that's going to be aggressive from a vehicular standpoint. I don't know. I feel like that's a really, really good position for them.
Indeed, indeed. I think it's really going to come down to the southern push here for AS. We're seeing a bit of skirmishing up north, but I don't think AS is going to get into the heart of that forest anytime soon. Way too much stuff. It's just going to be way too costly to try and push through that forest for any extra gains. Really, his best bet is center and south, and center will probably be a bit of a grind.
Yeah, I'm not sure I really like the idea of the center happening. Well, smoke to the north. He's trying to smoke at that. Wow, that's an interesting call. Okay. Yeah, I think he's accidentally awakened the enemy in the north. You can see right now he's lost that flag in the northern sector, and it's not going to be returned anytime soon.
Oh, that brings it to the Trove, and here we go. Gonzo has brought himself quite a bit of breathing room. I mean, down south his push is taking a little. It's a little slow to materialize. I mean, the supply lines isn't great. You have to kind of go through that forest. There's no direct road contact here. It's honestly a bit. It's actually pretty stupid how there's no direct road on the hill. Like, it's off the map to actually go across that road.
Yeah,
that's actually pretty dumb. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna let the other maps speak for me about terms of senselessness or senseless.
Eugene map design, not their greatest strong suit.
Yeah, but you know what? The idea is there at least. And unfortunately, right now we're seeing what could have been a really strong position. Again, I'm sticking by that fact that having that Zis there would have pushed back those ABs, and I think the Shinies could have been given a lot better account of themselves than what they're doing right now.
That's gonna give AS the hill. And that's a pretty, like, having the hill, of course, is a high ground, but it legitimately does give you really good coverage onto the rest of the southern side here. If you can get an anti-tank gun of his own, yeah, you should be able to capture these other 2 flags pretty easily.
Well, and not for nothing. Like you said, not having the road network to go immediately onto that hill makes any push you make over open ground, uphill, both ways. Like, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
Like going to school in the 50s.
That was kind of what I had in mind when I was making that comment, but you see my point. So this entire column of troops being brought on in, the Stromovikas and the Moskayas, again, very, very optimistic that they can get over that open ground.
Yeah.
It is not going to happen.
Yeah, that is... Oh no, maybe for the Moskayas. I mean, T-34 can pin down any infantry, but another 2 Stugs could happen. It's going to be risky. If it works, it's going to work great, because once you got SMG troops into the forest, things get pretty nasty.
That's true. That's true. But at the same time, I feel like, it also could happen that the Angels go independent. But if they probably need divine intervention for that to happen, too. Now, Shogun, in the meantime, is going to rotate down. T-34 being very aggressive, kind of without support, so I'm not a huge fan of this.
And
the
one hold
just,
fire. There we go.
Yeah. And the IL-2 just blowing apart the trees, so clearly Smokey is not his best friend.
I've just seen all the Romanian infantry are backing off for the time being. The Stug is getting himself into a pretty good position, but he probably doesn't have eyes on the infantry, as he has nothing to spot for him.
Of course, the Sturmoviki coming up in that transport. There we go. He sees him. Then he doesn't see him.
Oh.
Okay.
This is where you need recon.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a... Oh. Yeah, they're going to sneak right up onto the back on this hill, and that's really going to shut down any southern aggression here. Which is a shame, because AS was having really good momentum down south here, but no.
Oof. That's even worse, though, too. That wasn't the T-34, was it? No, it's
this. This.
Jeez.
Sneaky this, and there we go. The more Scryer Sturms, 2 flamethrowers each. They can counter any Romanian nonsense with flames. Good way to counter nonsense with a flamethrower. People speak nonsense to me at work, I just use the flamethrower. It's pretty simple.
That explains their rather fiery reviews of your job performance. But not to be outdone, there also is supportive fire for the Strafniki that are like, we have a point to be here too. And just engaging from like long range, which is exactly what need to be happening here. But before, where we were kind of preaching about the virtues of all these flame troops, I kind of feel like you almost have to have a dual flamethrower for an infantry squad to be really, really good.
It's like for DLC divisions, I did a lot of these like dual flamethrower troops. I mean, in vanilla it had the Jaegers with 2-man flamethrower teams, but I mean, both these divisions are very good infantry. They do get that bonus of 2 flamethrowers. As we're seeing quite a bit, like, strong infantry divisions are definitely a little bit more in the meta right now, as it's all about getting, just infantry is really useful in this game.
It is. It is. And it has the benefit of having more meat shields on the line, as opposed to being consistently asked to put out 2 or 3 AFVs that you then have to husband very carefully. It's so much easier to put 10 guys with rifles out there and just say, you'll die, but that's okay. Yeah,
it's cheap, it's affordable, and they can kind of spot for themselves compared to a tank, which is blind as a bat.
Of course, I say that in the spot for themselves. There's a Smoky squad and a Rosorii over here that literally had to get 100 meters from each other, and it's like, oh wait, there's the bad guy.
Yeah.
So, not the brightest moment in terms of their vision.
Up north here, we're all seeing Gonzo actually make a pretty good push here. Very odd map control. It's kind of like a balloon which is about to be inflated.
True.
IL-2's gonna come in clutch as the Rosorii. Oh damn, really good surrenders, yeah, but I'm gonna pay the iron price.
Yes, they are.
Aluminium bombs.
Well, the unfortunate thing is there's an entire platoon's worth of just other Strelki DPs and Pakotas. Just kind of chilling up to the north, hanging out, having some vodka. So I'm not really sure what they were thinking about at the time being, but as you can see right here, and as we you've constantly preached, it is C phase.
Yeah.
It's C phase. Things are gonna be very, very much in reverse over here from Gonzo's perspective.
Yeah, and we're just seeing the whole heap of infantry reinforcements being brought up north here from Gonzo. And a lot of very scary infantry too. I mean, down south, that hill is very, very, very secure with all infantry in there. Really, it'd be a great place to off-map artillery. And as we're seeing in the central town, yeah, not much is going to be happening there. 3-2 dug in.
And you can see right now as well, Gonzo's calling in troops over here to take advantage of that artillery barrage. You know, we always love this when this happens. Or at least I am very, very affectionate towards it. Maybe you feel love for it. But artillery barrage coming in, the troops aren't going to get there instantly at the whole 10 seconds, but at least there's a movement to do so.
Yeah.
And that, in many ways, is more important to me than actually having the artillery barrage there at all. And wait, is it being engaged by SU-76? What else? Oh, it's still played. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
HE-111 down south going to be bombing the forest. Pretty alright. Yeah, it's alright.
Yeah. When the response is pretty alright, I mean, it kind of says a lot about that particular bombing run.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be bigger bombs, but no, and AS will tap out.
Well, I think it's a good sense to tap out. And if you look right now, yeah. I didn't quite think it was that lopsided, but maybe it was because, yeah, I guess a lot of the planes were an issue too. Yep, one MiG taking out 4 planes by himself. Was this 2 taking out several vehicles? Yeah.
Yeah, he really messed up in his combined arms warfare. He's doing these small pushes with isolated units, and Gonzo did a pretty good job of keeping his units in formations with fire support backing him up, and managing to beat out really any sustained push. AS did do a decent job taking down the points, but if he needed something a bit more aggressive.
Well, and that's the thing, isn't it? And I feel kind of a little bit bad harping on this, because you said this already, but the air power was mismanaged in my mind.
Yeah.
There's a couple of misclicks, fine, I can let that go. But I feel like should have been some earlier kind of call-ins for the off-map, for one. Should have been some earlier call-ins for supportive artillery. Especially in a town fight, you need that consistent tube artillery.
Yeah, in the town fight, just off-map artillery barrage and then Russian of infantry is a pretty classic 1-2 punch, and if you can, I mean, it's going to be a deadly fight getting the town, but that probably would have been an option available to him because he wasn't really going to get any more territory up north, and south was really his best bet, but he just couldn't get onto it. Like, he couldn't completely secure the hill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And there is the issue. But regardless, well, it was a very noble struggle in the meantime. But it was a nice kind of hang in there to win kind of thing over here from Gonzo. And I would argue that Gonzo really was on the road to do that from probably about 12 or 14 minutes in. So it wasn't like, oh yes, we're in C phase, Gonzo wins. But, either way, love seeing the Romanians. So much dynamism there. Love seeing even Pactina. What's that?
A lot of sniper fire.
Yeah.
So much sniping.
Yeah, and that's how it kind of should be. I feel like there should be a lot more kind of just. I'm not gonna say nobility to that, but I don't know. There needs to be more Romanians. Okay, I need more romance in my life. Romanians. Anyway, so any final thoughts there, sir?
No.
Well, folks, in that case, then I guess it's time for us to say goodbye. Until next time, I'm Connell.
I'm Angru. Take it easy.